She was a warrior queen, but one human saw the girl she hid. The power cut out at exactly 23:17. Marcus barely noticed. He was mid-rep, shirt off, sweat glistening under the low glow of emergency lights humming from his smart rack. The blackout wasn't rare in the Veltron Embassy district. Then the knock came, one he froze, chest-rising, muscles coiled. Marcus reached for the sidearm beneath his bench, racked a silent round, and moved toward the door without a sound. Then she spoke. "Let me in," she said. "Or we both die tonight." He opened the door. She stepped forward. Her presence sucked the air out of the room. "Name," Marcus said flatly. "Gun still aimed low. Clister species. Veltron." She stepped inside. He watched as the glowing veins in her armor flickered, then pulsed dimly once more before fading. Just walked into his space like she owned it, then turned slowly. "I need this space." "Dark sealed and off-rid?" Marcus didn't move. "Who's chasing you?" She tapped a control panel on her forearm. It sparked. Coughed. "Smoke and died. I can't hold this form much longer," she said. Marcus stepped forward. "That armor custom?" She nodded once. "What's inside?" She quietly, "Not your concern." He circled her slow predator smooth. "You show up in a war zone district, no communications, no warning. You're either running from something bigger than you or dragging it behind you." "I didn't come here to fight." "Too late," he said. "Don't touch the suit," she said. "Not unless you want to learn the hard way, what it was built to contain." "I don't scare easy," he muttered. "Then you're a fool." She turned away from him, uninvited, unafraid, and for the first time since he'd built this bunker-like apartment from the bones of aid-commissioned city core, Marcus felt something unfamiliar. Curiosity. Kultor moved to the far corner, crouched low. Like a soldier preparing for a siege, her armor glowed faint again, then went still. "Whatever's hunting me," she said without looking back, "will find us by dawn." Marcus walked toward her. "Then I guess we'd better decide fast," he said. "Decide what? If I'm your shield or your coffin?" She tilted her helmet up just enough to show a sliver of green jawline. "You're neither," she said. And Marcus understood for the first time that this wasn't just a visitor. This was the storm, and it had just stepped inside. The room stayed silent for a long time. Clorter hadn't moved, still crouched in the corner like a panther waiting for a kill order. "You planning to sleep in that thing?" Marcus finally asked, leaning against the wall near the kitchenette, arms folded across his chest. She didn't look up. "I don't sleep. I find that hard to believe. I don't need to," she said. "The Armor filters. Cortisol spikes and regulates REM loops." "It keeps me alert, right?" Marcus muttered. "So no sleep, no food, no small talk. You just sit there armored and twitchy." That got her attention. Slowly she turned her head toward him. "You talk like a man who's not afraid to provoke. I've had worse guests," he said, "but none who made my reinforced security grid throw sparks." Kistor stood fluid and controlled. She walked toward him. "You don't understand what this suit is," she said. "I don't need to. You will," she said, then added with something like a warning. "It's not to protect me from you." Marcus didn't blink. "Then who?" Her voice dropped. "It's to protect you from what's inside." That landed hard. He looked her over again. The armor was beautiful in the way fighter jets are beautiful, sleek, efficient, lethal. But something else lingered. A pulse barely audible like her body and the suit weren't separate. "You expect me to believe that?" he asked. "That you're the danger." "I don't expect anything from you," she replied. "Good," he said, "because I don't scare." "Then you're ignorant." "No," he said, stepping closer. "I just want the truth." She didn't back down. "You think I haven't heard that before? That if I just take it off, if I just let someone close, enough they'll fix whatever I'm running from?" Marcus's voice turned low. "I don't want to fix you." That made her pause. "I want to understand what the hell kind of armor needs that many fail-safes," being said, "and why it's fused to your body like it's afraid of being left behind." Kistor looked away. "There's a protocol. Biological physiology doesn't handle trauma like yours does. We don't suppress adrenaline. We amplify it, prolong it. We evolve in crisis. She said, "You're saying your body changes under pressure?" She nodded once. "It doesn't stop, it escalates. And when it hits threshold, the armor seals locks, the body shuts down external contact." To protect others, he said, more statement than question. To contain me, Marcus walked past her, opened a small cabinet and grabbed a thermal bottle, poured hot water into 2 metal cups. He held one out. She didn't take it. Veltran cells reject most Earth biochemicals. She said, "It's just water, I still can't." "Take off the helmet." "Why not?" She looked at him then flatly. "Because if I do, I lose containment, and if you're too close, I burn." He offered. She smiled. "Worse. You connect." He set the cup down and stepped closer. "I'm not afraid of what's inside you," Marcus said. "Then you should be," Kistra replied. "Because I am." He held her gaze. She stepped back, slow-turned move toward the far end of the apartment, and knelt again near the wall as if anchoring herself to it. But something shifted, the kind of shift that doesn't shout. It hums. Something was wrong with the armor. He could feel it. And Clelistor, she was bracing for a failure. She didn't want to explain. Marcus sat back on the edge of the couch, one hand resting on the sidearm, the other on the armrest, eyes fixed on her. He wouldn't touch her. He hadn't slept since she arrived, not with her curled in the corner of his apartment like a coiled grenade with Nopin. The power was still out. He heard it first, a hiss. Marcus was on his feet before he thought about. It crossed the room in 4 steps, crouched beside her, Clelistor. No response. Her body waist-witching, small, involuntary jolts like static shocks dancing up her spine. "Clelistor," he repeated louder this time. Her hand shot out, grabbed his wrist midair. He stayed, still. Let her hold him. Felt the heat radiating through the glove. "What's happening?" "Malfunction," she whispered. "Breath ragged, bioseals, rejecting containment." "What does that mean?" "It means Ishim. It's choosing to kill me before I can break protocol." Her hand slipped from his wrist. She slumped sideways, body locked in a curl, legs trembling, her breathing sharp and fast like she was fighting herself. Marcus moved without asking. Hands went to the side of her armor where seams met thigh. No ports, just grooves, barely wider than a blood vessel. He ran his fingers along the edge. "Tell me how to open it." "You can't," she gasped. "It's encoded to me." "Then help me. Tell me where." She hesitated. Then voice, left hip. "First seal slide. Don't press. If you press it, spikes the fence." He followed the line. Found the first groove, slid his thumb along it. Slow, controlled, like slicing through warm oil, a click. Her whole body shuddered. Another seam pulsed. Light flickered along her thigh. Then the panel hissed, opened. Just a sliver, enough to see skin green smooth. Her body was hot. He moved to touch it. She grabbed his wrist again, this time not to stop him, just to make him pause. "Don't go further," she whispered, eyes shut. "Not yet. I'm not trying to strip you," Marcus said, voice low. "I'm trying to keep you alive." "I know," she said. "That's what makes it worse." He waited, then her hand fell away again. He stayed kneeling beside her, one palm resting against the small strip of her no-exposed thigh. "You should have told me sooner," he said. "Would you have believed me? I let you in, didn't I?" She didn't answer. Then the wall-mounted solar backup kicked in with a flicker, casting pale blue light across the room, and for the first time since she arrived, Marcus saw her face. The helmet had gone translucent, not open but reactive to the emergency pulse. The armor was trying to cool her, beautiful, in a way that felt more dangerous than any gun he'd ever held. "Clelistor," he said. Her eyes opened. "I can't hold it much longer," she said. "What happens if you let go?" "I don't know." "Then maybe it's time we find out." She stared at him, then softly. Second seal, upper left, same motion. He didn't hesitate. His finger slid beneath the upper seam, Ithacid. Another panel released. The armor didn't fall away. It relaxed, like it had been waiting. Her side was exposed now, rib cage, lower waist. The color of her skin there was deeper. Sweat clung to the curve of her hip down the seam of her abdomen. He didn't touch it. He just looked and said nothing. She moved slowly until she was sitting upright. Her breathing evened out, and though her body still steamed faintly with heat, the danger had passed. "I've never done that before," she said quietly. "Let someone help you. Let someone see," she corrected. He nodded once. "I didn't see anything you didn't choose." She almost smiled. Then her voice hardened again. "This doesn't mean you're safe. Wasn't trying to be good," she said. "Because the people who built this armor, they're going to come looking, and they don't knock." First, Marcus stood, offered his hand. She took it. Then let them come. He said. Claw stepped close. Close enough that the heat of her skin bled through what little armor remained. "I meant what I said," she whispered. "The armor has rules." "So do I," he said. "What's yours?" He leaned in, breath warm against her temple. "No one bleeds in my home but me." They came at dawn, just ascendant ping on Marcus's emergency comm grid. A signal rerouted from the Earth delegation's local station. Retrieval initiated. Friendly contact code, Foxtrot Gray. He was up before the ping cleared. The screen, boots on, weapon in hand. Clister was already standing, half-suited, eyes unreadable. "What is it?" she asked. "Official rescue request," Marcus said, slamming the data panel shut. "Earth delegation." Clistor didn't move. "You don't believe it. No one sends friendly contacts with weapons hot." He crossed to the wall, kicked open the storage hatch behind the backup battery, housing Clistister, watched him with surgical calm. "What's the plan?" "Depends who walks through the door." She stepped into the center of the room, still bare on one thigh and hip armor, hissing faintly as it tried to rebuild containment. "They're not here to help," she said flatly. "You knew this was coming. I was hoping you'd never have to." Footsteps. Marcus turned to her. "Stay visible. Keep the armor on. Don't talk. Let me control the conversation." "And if they're not here for a conversation?" He chambered around and checked the sight on the repeater. "Then we make sure someone doesn't leave." The knock came fast. Marcus opened the door without flinching. 3 men, 2 war earth sack, tactical grays, 1 unmarked clean cut, 2 polished diplomatic escort. The one who spoke first. "Marcus Hale, you've been harboring an unregistered alien presence. You are hereby instructed to release her into diplomatic custody for interspecies processing and emergency repatriation." Marcus raised a brow. "You rehearsed that?" The man didn't blink. "Step aside." Marcus didn't move. "What's her name?" The officer hesitated. "It's irrelevant." "No, see," Marcus said, lowering the weapon just a fraction. "That's where we disagree." Behind him, Clister stepped forward, silent. Not a word. The diplomat's eye twitched. "You're not here to help," Marcus said. "We're here to protect Earth interests." "Then why the plasma cores on your hip?" Marcus asked, stepping forward. The nearest soldier raised his rifle. The other tensed. He dropped low, spun, grabbed the first soldier's wrist, and wrenched it backward. The rifle clattered elbow to the face. The man dropped. Second soldier swung clear, stepped in. She moved like a machine, sweeping his legs, flipping him to the ground, knee on his neck before he could scream. The diplomat backed up. "You're making a mistake," he said. Marcus aimed his repeater at the man's chest. "So are you. You think hiding her here will change anything? She's tagged. That suit you think makes her strong. It's a leash." Clister's voice cut in. It was not anymore. The diplomat blinked. "She speaks. I do more than that," Clear said, stepping forward. Her suit hissed. "I survived." "You're a fugitive," he spat. "I'm a witness," she snapped. "And if you don't want that truth leaking across both of our systems, you'll leave." Marcus watched the diplomat's jaw tighten, calculating. Then he nodded once, but he wasn't done. "You won't make it far," he said. "They're coming. We're just the first wave. They want her back, and you." "Marcus Hale, just made yourself collateral." He backed out fast. The 2 soldiers were left. Behind unconscious door slammed shut. Marcus turned to her. "You going to tell me what that was really about?" Clestor stared at the sealed door for a beat longer, then looked at him. "They've sold me back to the Veltron government." she said. How much enough? To make Earth look innocent, she said bitterly. Enough for them to say I was retrieved willingly. Marcus exhaled. Why do they want you so bad? I wasn't just a soldier, she said. I was command. She pulled the helmet free. Finally, I was Commander Claveltra's border fleets, she said. And I saw things. Did things, but not the ones they pinned on me. You were framed. She nodded once. And I have proof. Marcus moved to her. Fast, grabbed her shoulders where she touched the center of her chest plate. Here, locked inside, the suit. But if I remove it completely, there's a dead man's switch, one wrong sequence, and the core melts everything. He looked her over. You trust me to help you take it off? I don't trust anyone, she said. But I don't have a choice. Marcus nodded once. Then, softly. You said they're coming. They'll be here by nightfall. Good, he said. We'll be gone by then. She frowned. We're underground, he said. Transit depot. Abandoned rail sectors. I've used them before. You move like someone who's done this, she said. I've moved. People out are worse, Marcus replied. You're not what I expected, I get that a lot. He stepped closer, looked her in the eyes. You ready to run? I don't run, she said. I hunt. Marcus smirked. Then let's go hunting. The old transit depot sat 6 stories below, street level buried beneath collapsed tunnels and abandoned Megan. It hadn't seen power in 30 years. Marcus liked it for exactly that reason. No signals, no surveillance. They dropped into it through a sealed maintenance shaft, 2 districts over after, torching his entire apartment to cinders. That was Clear's idea. No trail, she said, no recovery. Marcus didn't argue. He only turned once as the fire licked up the walls to grab the sidearm he'd hidden behind the insulation panel. Just one thing he couldn't leave behind. By the time they reached the depot, both of them were covered in grime. Marcus's shirt was soaked, the shoulder torn from a scrape through the vent shaft. Clear's armor had powered down into standby mode, dim pulsing only at the joints. She hadn't removed a single piece. You're overheating again, he said. She leaned back against the wall, legs out, head tipped up. System spike, she muttered. Finally, the armor's trying to reset, but I'm inside a sealed shell. Heat's got nowhere to go. Marcus crossed the floor, knelt beside her. You need me to cool you again, he said. That's not an option anymore, she said. Tone clipped. The temperature isn't the problem, it's the proximity effect. What the hell is that? Clorder opened her eyes. Your biology, she said. Your contact. It triggers responses. I'm not supposed to feel responses, he repeated. Desire, she said. Biological imprinting, Veltran bodies pair through survival, trust, and sustained proximity. You've touched more of me than anyone alive. My body doesn't want to cool down anymore. She turned her head away, just slightly. It wants to bind. The silence between them fractured. Marcus didn't move, but his pulse climbed. You think I don't feel it? He said. Clifter looked at him again. You're a storm inside metal, he said. Every time I touch you, you burn hotter. Every time you back away, you pull me with you. I don't need comfort, she snapped. I'm not offering comfort. He leaned in. I'm offering you control. The suit's locking me out, she said quietly. Senses elevated response, thinks I'm compromised, starting to seal itself. What happens if it seals again? I don't get out this time, she said. It'll shut me down. He reached toward her, slow, deliberate, not to touch skin, to touch the chest panel where the glow was brightest. Then let me in, he said. She caught his wrist. Their eyes met. I don't want this to be weakness, she said. It's not. I don't want to need you. Then don't need me, he said. Choose me. For a long moment, nothing moved. Then slowly, she let go. Back, plate first, she whispered. Just enough to vent. Not full access. He nodded. Once moved behind her, the panel was slick with condensation. The seams almost invisible now. But Marcus found the groove, slid his fingers down it. The panel cracked open with Ahis, like a sigh of relief, steam bled out around the sides, beneath it, her back. He leaned close, breath warm against the side of her neck. "I'm not here to take," he said. "I'm here to hold." Clister exhaled. Her body loosened, just a fraction. Marcus ran one hand down the open edge of her back, just the edge. Her breathing hitched. "You're still burning," he said. "I'm trying to stop," she whispered. "Don't." She twisted just slightly until their eyes met again. What if this goes too far? Marcus didn't blink. "Then we go there together." She looked away, then back again. "No one's ever seen me like this. Not my body, my state." He stepped around her, knelt in. "Front, I see you now." Then she leaned forward, pressed her forehead to his. "Don't make me regret this, you won't," he said. He didn't kiss her, didn't pull her in. He just stayed close. And when she finally let her hands fall to his chest, palms flat, heat humming through him, he understood something she hadn't said. They stayed like that for a long time. Eventually her temperature dropped, the glow faded, her eyes softened, and her armor didn't seal again because her body had chosen something else. Him. They didn't sleep because sleep would mean letting go, and neither of them were ready for that. Clistor sat on the edge of the depot's rusted service platform, armor flaring open across her back like a fractured exoskeleton. Marcus stood across from, her arms crossed, watching her with a stillness most men couldn't. "Hold, I need more off," she said finally. He nodded once. "Where my spine midsection. If I keep running hot, the suit's going to reset containment. If it does that while I'm awake, I lose command." Override. Marcus approached slow. "No sudden moves, turn," he said. She did. He knelt behind her, slid his fingers across the back plating. The seams pulsed as his touch found the release sequence. 2 quick strokes, a slide, a click. The back panel opened wider, and beneath it her just skin, bare, trembling, curved along the slope of her lower back where no light had touched in years. Scars ran diagonally. Clister exhaled like she hadn't in days. Shoulders slack. "You okay?" he asked. "I don't know," she said, voice quiet. "Feels like something's being peeled off me, the suit, know the war." She pulled her legs up beneath her and sat with her back open, to him, arms across her knees, chin resting on her wrist. She looked smaller like that. He sat beside her, not touching. "I should hate this," she said. "The exposure, the stillness, every rule I ever followed, this breaks all of them. So why aren't you stopping?" She turned to look at him, eyes rimmed with something that wasn't tears, but close, because for the first time in years, she said, "I don't feel like I have to survive you. You think I'd hurt you?" He asked. "I know you wouldn't," she said. "That's what terrifies me." "Tell me what's in the armor," he said. Finally. "The key," she said. "To everything, logs, transcripts, voice files, orders from the Veltron High Council. I was given an attack sequence I didn't authorize. They staged the whole thing, then framed me when it went bad. Civilians died, a lot of them. They needed a scapegoat. So, they sealed the truth inside you. They sealed it in the armor," she said, "and then sent assassins to make sure. I never lived long enough to unlock it." Marcus sat with that for a beat. "Then how much do you want that truth out?" She looked at him. "More than anything." "Then you need to trust me with the full suit," he said, "sooner or later." Then she nodded. "I'll need time." She said, "If I remove the chest core, it triggers the timer 90 seconds. Either I decrypt it or it erases or it kills me." "You won't die," he said. "You don't get to promise that. I'm promising I'll be next to you when the countdown starts," he said. "And I won't let it end that way." Clor stood too. The armor hanging half open on her back made her look like something fallen from orbit. He ached forward and ran the back of his knuckles along her jaw. "You don't scare me," he said. "You should," she whispered. "I'm tired of being scared." "So am I." The lights flickered above a static charge in the depot's broken wiring that above them the world was still hunting, and below the truth waited inside a suit she wasn't sure she could survive removing. They moved again, before First Light tore. Stood near the base of Adderaled, Magline, hair damp against her neck, watching the tunnel like she could see beyond the earth-packed Fasturi. She said, not looking at him, "They'll sweep the depot next. We can't be here. When they do, where there's a Dead Zone 2 me outside the South Industrial Rim old maintenance structure off RID. Used to be part of the recycling corridor before the war. No sensors, no flyovers, cold concrete and rust. Marcus slung the pack over his shoulder. Sounds cozy. Clear cracked. The faintest smirk. The sun was just edging over the skyline by the time they reached the Barrens. It wasn't a name on a map. The shelter they found was barely more than a rectangle of rebar and concrete sunken into the dirt. But it was enough. They entered in silence, sealing the entrance with 2 steel plates Marcus wedged into the wall like a makeshift vault door. Inside, the structure echoed with every breath. Marcus got the fire going fast. Clister sat near the fire, cross-legged, half-suited. She didn't speak for a while until she said softly, "You keep looking at me." Marcus didn't flinch because you're not armored anymore. Her eyes flicked up to his. "And that matters to you, it matters to you," he said. "And I'm paying attention. You're different than most humans I've met. You've met the wrong kind." "Maybe," she said. Then after a beat, "Or maybe just the predictable kind." She leaned back on one arm, hair spilling over her shoulder. Marcus shifted slightly. Close, but not touching. "You regret taking the armor off?" "No," she said. "I regret needing to." Her voice rougher. "Where I come from, vulnerability is a weakness. You expose your back. Someone cuts it. You open your chest. They carve it hollow." "Sounds familiar," he said. "Except where I come from, they just shoot first." The fire crackled. The only sound for a full minute. Then, she asked, "Why haven't you touched me?" "I have," he said, "but never without you letting me." "That's not what I mean." "I know I'm burning again," she whispered. "But it's not the override this time." His voice was low, steady. "I know." She moved closer, one hand pressed to his chest, her palm warm, shaking just a little. "Say something that matters," she said. So he did. "You're not the weapon they made, you're the reason they're afraid of one." She inhaled like the air had changed, and then she kissed him like someone letting go of the last safety rail. Marcus pulled her into his lap, arms tight around her waist, hands flat against her back where the armor had opened, her body molded into his heat meeting heat. No more barriers. She broke the kiss first, breathing hard. "I don't know what this is," she said. He didn't flinch. "It's not armor. It's not safe. It's not supposed to be." Her hand slid to the back of his neck. "I haven't let anyone this close in over 10 years. She said, "Then let it be me. I don't want to be a weakness," she whispered. "You're not." He said, "You're the storm." She let her head fall against his shoulder, stayed there. He held her like she might disappear if he didn't. Eventually, her breathing slowed. The fire dimmed. The glow of her suit faded, and in that moment, sitting half-armored, firelit, pressed to the chest of a man she wasn't supposed to need. Clister did something she hadn't done since she fled her homeworld. She slept. When Clister woke, the fire was nothing but embers. Her cheek rested against Marcus's chest, his arm still around he. She didn't remember falling asleep. Slowly, she sat up. Marcus stirred, but didn't open his eyes. Clorter pulled her knees in close arms wrapped around them. Her armor had fully deactivated during the night, folding into the recesses of her spine like a machine, finally given permission to sleep. Only the underweave remained, now tight across her chest and thighs, seamless as a second body. "Do you know what a Veltron commander is?" she asked. Marcus nodded slowly. "You were more than a soldier." "I was born into a control caste," she said. "Engineered, trained. We're not officers, we're strategic assets used for psychological dominance, not just tactical superiority. You weren't given the job." "No," she said. "I was made for it." Marcus said nothing, just watched her. "I earned my fleet at 22 cycles. Outperformed every male commander, twice my age. I was the first woman to command the border defenses in over 60 years. And they hated me for it because you didn't follow orders, because I didn't take them from men who only saw me as a genetic vault with a temper." She exhaled, looked down at her hands. Then came the Carrick's incursion. A neutral world got caught in the crossfire. My orders were clear: observe, report, disengage. But the Council overrode them mid-mission. Sent a secondary strike, wiped out 500,000 colonists, blamed the coordinates on me. Marcus's jaw clenched. Let me guess you didn't go along with the lie. I refused to. Validate the footage, stole the black box from my own flagship. The armor was a prototype coded to my former betrothed. I took it from him, left him naked and powerless like I'd been for years. Her voice shook. They labeled me a rogue, a traitor. Said I'd gone unstable, tried to seduce humans to destabilize diplomatic sectors. Said I wasn't just broken, I was dangerous. Marcus leaned forward, elbows on his knees. And now you're here in a concrete ruin with a man who's got no authority and less sense. Her lips twitched, almost a smile. They were right about one thing, she said. What's that? I am dangerous. She stood, walked across the room to the broken mirror leaning against the far wall. Her reflection was distorted. Her green skin washed in smoke and red, light the underweave clinging to every breath. She reached behind her and tapped the side of her waist. A small panel hissed open. Marcus was on his feet instantly. Wait. She held up a hand. Just the first lock. I need you to see what's inside. He approached. Slow. She peeled the panel back. Inside, 3 cylindrical pods embedded into the armor's inner frame, glowing softly, each the size of a finger, and 1 red button. If I remove the central core, she said, I trigger the protocol. 90 seconds. Either I unlock the fail-safe with my biometric code or the suit melts itself. And me. Marcus stared at the core. What's inside? Proof, she said. Audio-visual full footage of the override order. I downloaded it before I fled. It's in quantum-locked storage, can't be copied, only viewed once. Then use it, he said. Broadcast it, prove you were set up. She turned to him. If I take it out, I lose everything. The armor doesn't just shut down. It burns. Once the sequence starts, I either finish it or trying. Marcus didn't blink. Then I'm with you. Every second you don't get it, she said, stepping closer. If I fail, you die too. There's a proximity link in the armor's defense net. If it senses external tampering, especially male touch, it triggers a kill chain. Marcus looked her dead in the eyes. Then let me in before you remove it. Let me be part of the code. You don't even know what that means. He stepped closer, inches from her now. Then teach me. You're insane, she whispered. He smiled. Maybe, but I'd rather burn with you than watch them bury what's left. Then did something she hadn't done since the day she stole the armor. She reached up and deactivated the helmet seal. It fell away, hit the ground with a dull metallic thunk. She took his hand, guided it to the seam over her heart. You feel that? She said. That's the real core. If it stops, everything ends. Marcus didn't pull away. I won't let it. You can't save me, she said. I'm not trying to, he whispered. I'm standing with you. There's a difference. For one long second, she didn't breathe. Then she reached up, pressed the panel. A hiss, a click. The core slid free. 90 seconds. The suit began to die and Marcus didn't move an inch. They had 90 seconds to live. Biometric sync initiated, Clister said, voice tight. Commencing core unlock. The pod in her hand vibrated, then hissed. A digital ring flared across her palm. Marcus stood inches from her chest, bare breath, calm. She looked up. Don't touch anything. Not until the pulse fades. He nodded. How long? 80 seconds. Secondary lock releasing, Clore said. If it fails, it won't. Marcus said. You don't know that, I know. You, he said, and you've never failed. She looked at him, and for the first time she didn't try to hide the fear in her face. Then the core beeped. Her body jerked. Red light flashed across, her lower spine, up her ribs, then straight through the exposed portion of her back. She dropped to her knees. Marcus was there before she hit the floor. Cluster contact burn. She gasped, the suits rejecting the transition, internal power loops destabilizing. He pulled her close, one hand at the nape of her neck, the other on her exposed side, grounding her. Absorb it, she whispered, just like before. Draw it out. He pressed his forehead to hers. You're not alone. The heat rolled off her in waves, and every second that passed, Marcus felt it seeping into his body like voltage. His muscles trembled, but he didn't let go. Then a green flash blinked once in the pod. Her body went limp. Marcus caught her. Claire's breath returned slowly. She looked up at him and her voice cracked on the edges. You didn't let go. You said don't. You should have. I don't know how. For a beat, all she could do was stare. Then she reached, up-cupped the side of his face and pressed her lips to his forehead. Then I'm not giving you the option again. The pod in her hand blinked twice. Data stabilized, she said. Quantum lock released. You got the footage. She nodded, every second of it. The override. Orders, the fabricated logs, the strike footage, all of it. Marcus stood, helping her to her feet. Then it's time we get this to someone who will make it count. The plan wasn't complicated. That was what made it dangerous. Clear had burned the failsafe. Marcus's contact, a systems engineer with access to the Veltron Earth diplomatic channels, had agreed to a meet-neutral zone. The problem, it was locked behind biometric gates and guarded by both sides. Marcus had a way in, but only 12 hours later. They stood outside the blast doors of the capital's core. Rain soaked the streets. The buildings around them stood like sentinels, dead concrete and neon scars. Clear's armor was half gone, her legs bare from mid-thigh down, her arms covered only by the suit liner, the rest hidden under a civilian cloak stitched from mesh thermal fabric. Marcus wore black inside his belt. 2 shock knives, a magnetic repeater, and the pod. You ready? He asked. She just nodded. They moved fast. Through the alley, past the dead checkpoint, up the vent shaft Marcus had carved out years ago when the city had belonged to another war inside. The bunker, they dropped through the ceiling grid. Security pulses lit the air. 2 guards, Clistor whispered. 15 Malpulse rifles, slow, reaction time. You want them or me? She arched a brow. I'm the one with fire. Marcus grinned. She moved. First dropped like a shadow. The first guard didn't even see her before she disarmed him and cracked his head against the console. The second raised. His rifle. Marcus fired once, pulled to the neck clean. They dragged the bodies behind the control racks. You good? Marcus asked. I'm overheating again, she said, panting slightly. Save it. Trying. They slipped down a maintenance stairwell, avoiding the main corridor. He stood in the center of the chamber. Gray coat, cybernetic eye, hands raised. I didn't think you'd make it, he said. Marcus dropped the pod on the floor between them. She brought receipts. Talon picked it up, scanned it, then palled. Shit, you're looking at the death warrant of the entire Veltran High Council. Marcus said, if this goes live, war breaks out again. I know, Talon said, which is why I'm going to do something incredibly stupid. What's that? Clorter asked. I'm going to believe you. He moved to the console, plugged the pod in, then the lights died. An alarm screamed. Clister, Marcus shouted. Too late. The door behind them blew inward. A drone zipped through the smoke. A figure followed. Clistor's face went white. Marcus aimed his repeater. Who is that Beltron elite guard, she said. They sent one of them, definition-born killers. The figure raised a cannon. Marcus grabbed. Kistori yanked her down behind the console. A shot tore through the metal, blasting heat and plasma across the room. Clear, how do we kill it? You don't, she said, chest heaving. You outthink it. Marcus glanced up. Another shot. Another blast. He shoved her sideways, rolled across the floor, yanked a power cable free and jammed it into a live node. Talon screamed, it's broadcasting. Clister turned to Marcus. Buy me 10 seconds, he nodded. Try not to. Marcus charged straight at the elite. Dodged the first swing, slid under the second, slammed a shock knife into the armor's thigh joint. The elite howled. Clister crawled to the console. Type fast, fingers flying. 5 seconds, Talon said. The elite turned, raised the cannon. They hit the floor, rolling fists, knives, blood. Then the broadcast light turned green. Talon whispered, it's out. It's everywhere. Clister stood, turned. The light hesitated. Then the command channel in his helmet pinged. He looked at her and ran. Marcus lay on the floor, bleeding. Clister knelt beside him. Hey. He smiled weakly. Told you'd stand with you. You didn't stand, she said. You leapt. He coughed once. Worth it? Clistor leaned down, kissed his forehead. Ask me again when the war starts. The world changed in 8 seconds. That's how long it took the footage to spread 8 seconds of encrypted stream before every major channel, every military node, every command relay ignited with the truth. Clistor stood in the bunker, one hand still pressed to the core interface. Hero, their arm limp at her side, the light from the screen flickered across her bare skin. Talon was gone. He'd bolted as soon as the broadcast hit. He wasn't a fighter. Now all that remained was aftermath and Marcus. He lay on the floor, nearby shirt-blooded side, bandaged tight, from a plasma burn that had missed his lung by millimeters. His breath was even. Clarister knelt beside him. Her fingers brushed his cheek. You should be unconscious. Marcus opened one eye. Don't like missing things. You were almost part of the floor. He managed half a grin. Still am just the sexier part, Clistor.